We are nearing, no matter what calendar one goes by, we're nearing the end of this Congress. We have only a few short weeks to end the stalemate and pass the Farm Bill. For months, House leaders have blocked a vote on a bipartisan Farm Bill. We passed one in this body across the political spectrum, Republicans and Democrats alike, a bill that saved tens of billions of dollars, but they won't allow it to come to a vote. The Republican leadership won't in the House of Representatives. And a lot is at stake, from rural communities to farmers who need the certainty that a Farm Bill extension would mean. You know, I've said a lot of times on this floor, farming can't be put on hold. You can't tell a farmer, well, hold those crops for a couple of months while we wait to see what we're doing. Or don't milk those cows for a few months until we figure out whether the Congress will get its act together on a farm bill. It doesn't work that way. We passed a bipartisan bill under the leadership of the chair of our committee, Debbie Stabenow. We passed a bipartisan bill that renews the Charter for Basic Agriculture, Nutrition, and Conservation Programs, but also saves taxpayers $23 billion. Now, from what I've been told privately, if the House leaders would permit a vote, this bill would pass in the House. Just as Republicans and Democrats came together in this body, they would in the other body. And if we passed it, it would end this corrosive stalemate. It would contribute billions of dollars to deficit reduction. But now it appears that nutrition programs that help millions of our most vulnerable fellow Americans are the latest excuse for preventing a House vote to get the Farm Bill done. In this, the wealthiest, most powerful nation on earth, we're saying we'll hold this up because we have hungry people. When you have so many Americans still struggling to put food on the table, it's regrettable, but more than that, it's inexcusable that some House Republicans are turning to slashing essential nutrition help for struggling Americans as a means to prevent action on the Farm Bill. Ensuring that these programs can continue to serve Vermonters and all Americans is a key part of enacting a strong Farm Bill for this economy. The bipartisan Senate-passed Farm Bill makes an investment in American agriculture. It'll benefit our producers, our dairy farmers, our rural communities, our Main Street businesses, our taxpayers, and our consumers. Now, it's being held hostage by House Republicans who are demanding draconian cuts in food assistance program just as we're coming out of the worst recession in generations. It's ironic. Here during this holiday season, opponents of nutrition programs that help the poor are insisting on making it drastically more difficult or impossible for these families and their children to simply eat. Madam President, no member of the Senate, no member of the House of Representatives goes hungry except by choice. None of us do. We don't know what that's like. We don't come home and look at our children and say, we can't feed you tonight. Hold on for another day. I know you're hungry. I know you're crying. I know you can't sleep, but we can't feed you today. None of us face that. But I can tell you there are people in every single state we represent. That's their reality. And advocating these drastic cuts, it couldn't be a worse time. As winter approaches, Vermonters and others across the country are going to find the demands of paying for heating, electricity, and food a large strain on their family's budget. And this is before we even go into those areas that have faced such terrible natural disasters, and those will probably face more. But I know there are Vermonters, like so many other Americans, who struggle every day to make ends meet and are forced to make tough decisions whether they're going to pay for rent or heat or medications or food. We're talking about essentials. Madam President, you and I represent two of the most beautiful states in this country. But we also know both our states can get very cold in the wintertime. When it's 5 and 10 below zero, heat is not a luxury. And food shouldn't be a luxury. But it's 5 below zero, and your choice is, can we heat or can we eat? This, in America, that's wrong. You know, the economy is continuing to recover, and we hope it will. But we still have many Americans who rely on basic assistance to get by each month. Thankfully, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, has filled the gap. It offers the most comprehensive assistance available to the poorest Americans. And it's unfortunate during this fall's campaign, we saw candidates who were intent on spreading misconceptions about a program that lifts millions of Americans above the poverty line each year. The contention that SNAP beneficiaries are largely out of work Americans is far from accurate. 2/3 of the beneficiaries are children, the disabled, or the elderly who cannot be expected to work. The remaining participants are subject to rigorous work requirements in order to receive continuing benefits. Vermont's done a remarkable job of urging Vermonters to register for our SNAP program. We call it 3 Squares. But the unfortunate reality is that thousands of Vermonters continue to go without food they could receive. And I hear from Vermont families that participate in 3 Squares about the importance of federal food assistance. Parents have told me that they ignore their own hunger to ensure their kids are fed, but they don't know how they could cope if benefits are cut further. Kathy, a mother from Barrie, Vermont, where my father was born, says her child has come to her crying, wondering whether they'll have enough money for food. Others that know the expenses for necessities, such as heating and rent, are fixed costs. And when 3 Squares benefits run out, skipping breakfast or lunch is the only way to scrape by. Fortunately, both the Senate and the committee-passed Farm Bill in the House include cuts in the nutrition program, but the cuts in the Senate bill represented a concession from our chair, and ultimately the Senate Farm Bill passed the Senate, the bipartisan vote, including mine, as it always has. That concession is not enough for many House Republicans. The $16 billion reduction in nutrition programs they wish to see in the Farm Bill would devastate nutrition programs nationwide. Millions in every state in this country are left without means to purchase food, result in the elimination of food assistance for an estimated 2 to 3 million people, and 280,000 children would lose eligibility for free school meals. This is shameful. So these budget questions reflect who we are as Americans. In a nation that will spend billions on wasted diet fads, I'd like to see us spend some money to feed the hungry in the most powerful nation on earth.